and I end it trying to remember to do one of these a day or at least one or two a week. Praise the Lord, this is Jesus and me forever. And I had a very good day today. My children are off with their brother at his house and enjoying themselves. I spent this morning, everything Rosie would like to pray. I'm sorry, my house is a small trailer, as you can see. It's only 64 feet long or something like that, so it's 64, yeah, I think, because it's like a 14 by 17, I think it's 64 whenever you take the tongue off. So I'm like, God, what can I do? What can I do? I've been going over to my son's house, but I get distracted by his games because I enjoy space. So I'm like, God, what can I do? What can I do? My kids have been cleaning up back here. I don't know if y'all had seen this before, but all of this was like 3 feet full of trash. So it's slowly but surely getting cleaned out a little bit at a time. And I'd forgotten our kitchen table had to be removed because we were working on stuff. And so I set it up. So here is my new workstation. We'll see how well this lasts. I know I can't come out here and do this in the rain, but I thought, God, you are so good. Why not be out here in nature? And our new addition to our family, she just showed up one day, and I'm sorry, I'm not a person to let an animal starve. So we feed her each day. We give her some food, and I think some of the other animals have been coming along and helping themselves to her food because I've seen another cat around here. But this is our new addition. Don't really have a name for her yet. She's got beautiful markings on her. I mean, she's a lot gray, but I mean, there's just a hint of tiger stripe in her if you look at her carefully. And the markings on her tail and stuff. She's probably about
to 8 months old, I'd say. I'd almost veer towards about the 8, but she's still enough of a kitten to enjoy playing. So, anyway, that's kind of what we're doing today, and um, I've got to get on to my homework because I'm behind. I've been praying about it because this has been a hard semester. It's been a lot more difficult than I thought it would be. Just I'll do that and let that kind of, you can kind of see me in the computer screen. It started out rough with things just happening the first semester, me being sick, kind of like NOC my first semester there, back there, or there whenever I went. It was really hard. Things just kept happening. And this has been no exception. It's like I got my first class done and got ready to start the second class, and spring break happened. And it's been very difficult to get focused back in because not only did spring break happen, but it's like we weren't even halfway through spring break. Well, I guess we were about halfway through because it was like on a Wednesday. They announced that the kids would not be going back to school in the school building. And so that really changed things a lot. I'm going to go ahead and flip this around. That really changed things a lot because the kids have been going to school for the last 4 or 5 years here in Perry, and we have great school, great teachers. Nothing, no arguments there. Um, However, my two older ones did have issues here, and it wasn't with the teachers. It was with the students, the kids that were around them. And my younger two have had similar difficulties, but they deal with it different than the older two did. So we've just left them in, and it's like my husband's like, "You're not going to homeschool again. Don't even think of it." Blah blah blah. And I've almost. It's been weird. The last Since January, I've really felt an urge to homeschool, and I'm like, "No, can't do that. Can't do that." My husband's already said no. Besides, we need my paycheck. Blah blah blah. That kind of thing. And this situation here has forced us in a way to go back to homeschooling. So, and I'm like, God, what do you want me teaching? If I'm going to homeschool, what do you want me teaching? And one of the first things that has really come up has been character. Um, because my younger two weren't, they've been raised a little differently. Um, the older two, we got to do all kinds of field trips and fun stuff with homeschool. We had the homeschool group that we could meet with. We had all these fun activities with K-12 that they went and did. We went riding with daddy. We'd go on, you know, a week trip with their daddy during the summer and sometimes even during the school year because we were homeschooling. And that's not the case. 2 years ago, my husband, of course, found out that he had cirrhosis of the liver, stage 4. And praise the Lord, he's doing great. I mean, he gets pains in his stomach, a lot of gas, I guess is the best way of putting it, because he's burping a lot and he has a lot of pain whenever he burps. And so, sorry, I've got an itch in my nose. I breathed in something that was floating around in the air, and now it's making my nose itch. But 2 years ago, everything just really kind of changed. And so I've got a little helper up here, by the way. Take a look. Somebody came along to join me. So, hey. She's going around and checking out everything. But anyway, 2 years ago, my husband was diagnosed with cirrhosis of the liver, stage 4. So life has not been the same since. I mean, that's just the best way of putting it. He no longer goes out on the road. The longest trip we can make is 2 hours because that's all his body can handle at one time. And so what my two younger children are going to be getting with homeschool is nowhere near what my two older kids did. I mean, the younger kids have traveled with their dad. Don't get me wrong. We've all traveled from one end of the United States to the other. My kids have been in pretty much about 48 states, and it's like my youngest daughter, whenever they were going through the states and everything, the teacher was asking them, okay, how many states have you been in? And she told them. And they're like, oh no, you couldn't have been in that many states. Well, at that time, I was a substitute teacher. And I had gone in to sub for her class one day. And it's like, we were going over states. I can't remember which state we were working on. And they were supposed to ask if anybody had traveled there. And there was only like 2 or 3 kids that had raised their hands. And everybody kind of looked at Sarah like, you haven't been there. And she's like, yes, I have. And they looked at me and I said, yeah, she's been in 48 states. And they're like, you've been in 48 states? Wow. So, I mean, there have been benefits to my husband traveling, but now we don't have that. So it's going to be different. So we're going to work on character. We'll do some other stuff. And as things kind of settle down with all of this, we might go ahead and take a few field trips here and there just to, so they can, explore like my 2 older ones did. But, it's different. And so along with the homeschool, I've been praying about whether I should stay in college or get out. I just finished one class. I only have until December. And in my prayer today, I was seeking God's face. I'd been listening to Perry Stone. I'm like, God, what do you want me to do? I'm having such problems getting on track with this homework. I'm 3 weeks behind on one class, 2 weeks behind on another. What am I supposed to do, Lord? What do you want me to do? And he said, peace. Be at peace. He's like, you need to finish this. This is a goal you set for yourself. And it would be beneficial not only to you, but to your family. Finish it. He's like, you can do this. And I'm like, okay, so I need to finish this. Just like I've been a para in the school system. And after Christmas, it was very difficult. Like I said, the student that I worked with had been very, I don't even know how to explain it. She just hadn't seen her happy self like she was before. And when she came back, it was almost like she didn't want to be there. And it was very difficult for me because, I mean, she wanted attention, which, I give her attention. But there's certain times in the day where I would have to fill out paperwork. And she would want attention when I was trying to fill out that paperwork. And if I didn't give her what she thought she was supposed to have, then she would kind of hit on me. And I mean, she wouldn't ever hit really that hard, but sometimes it was just, Lord, I've had enough. Anybody who's worked as a para, sometimes you have times where the kids are just fine, and other times they have what is called in the specials world is meltdowns. And it seemed like my student was having meltdowns every day. And everything I tried didn't seem to be working. And we were finally getting something that was working, and then I was told I had to change it. And I'm like, okay, how can I incorporate this in what we're doing? And am I even supposed to be here, Lord? And it was very hard. And you're fixing to hear a train. We live right next to the train tracks, and they come through about every 10 minutes or so. So you may not be able to hear me after a few minutes, and here comes the kitty cat. She's like, ah! It's this loud noise. So she's running around. I think she hid under my chair. But here's the train. This is our backyard. So it will continue going through for another few minutes. I will have to watch this and see if you can even hear me over any of this, and we'll see if I keep this or get rid of it, or just edit this part out. I don't know. We'll see. Gotta love trains. My husband, it's like when we first moved here, it was okay, not a big deal. And then my baby was born, and within about 6 months of us moving here, and it's like, oh my gosh. Between the baby and the trains, it was never ending, and my son got to the point where he was terrified of them. So for about 2 years, it was really difficult living here. And this one is a nice long train. There's the end of it. Yay. So I don't know. I may edit this part out. I don't know. We'll see. Some people like bloopers like that. I'm not real fond of trains, if you can't tell. My best friend lived close to him, and I spent a lot of my time with her. So I didn't like him then, don't like him now. So that's just me. My husband finds him very comforting. Me, I'm just like, how annoying. But so I've been struggling this semester. I'll get back on track. And God told me to go ahead and finish this. And same thing he told me with my students, stay with your student. And I'm like, but God, this is getting so hard. And he's like, stay with your student. See this through. And I'm like, okay, I'll stay, God. You told me to stay, I'm staying. And I'm so glad I did, because, I mean, it would have been very difficult for her, um, for the school system to find somebody else to work with her. Um, and so, and she is so precious. She is such a sweetheart. It's just like any kid. When they're being good, you just love them to pieces, and it's just like the world is all hunky dory. When they're acting up, it's like ah. So there were lots of awesome times, and if who knows what God has for next semester? We'll just wait and see. I'm taking one step at a time, and we'll see how my classes go. So I better get off of here, because I've been talking for about 17 minutes of inconsequential things that nobody probably wants to hear about anyway. So God bless you guys, and have a wonderful day. And I will see if I can get some things worked out for tomorrow, because I'd like to do something a little different tomorrow. So God bless, and have a great night, whatever's left of it. Bye bye.